Hello, and welcome to Benney Babbles. I'm Benny, and this is where I do all my babbling. And tonight, I'm going to be babbling with Nigel Evans. Welcome to the show, Nigel.
Hello there. How the devil are you?
I'm very good, thank you. I'm very good. I like your lamp in the background.
Well, you say lamp because you're in the business and you know about these things. It is. I bought it in a junk shop in Brecon, very nice shop in Brecon, and I thought it was a filmmaking thing. And when I got it home, it's one of those lamps that you use to build railways.
All right.
At night, you're building a railway, singing along like this. I don't know, but I've been talking, and it's gas. It's powered by gas.
It's powered by gas.
This one's been converted to electric.
Right.
So,
see then.
But originally it was powered by gas. It was like a little gas thing in it. But, so I'm still quite pleased with it. It's much brighter on the screen than it is in real life. It's really dim. It's like got a 5-watt bulb in it.
Well, I'm using CGI on it. That's what it is.
Oh yeah, that's probably what it is. It's probably about as bright as a bicycle lamp from the 70s with one of those big batteries in.
Ideal for just some back mood lighting kind of thing.
Yeah, and I thought, hey, let's be pretentious and let's have that in the background. I'm never going to use that on any set, I don't think. So I might as well use it now. Get it over and done with.
Well, I like it. Thank
you very much.
I like it. Yeah, I like that.
Very much.
Yeah,
it's not real. It's a poster, actually, but
it's like my wallpaper.
Yeah, studio lamp wallpaper. Get it in IKEA now.
Yeah.
Other shops are available. Like Wilco is my favorite, actually.
Yeah, Wilco, I had it from.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah.
So, welcome to the show. It's a Friday night.
Yeah.
Yeah, and neither of us got anything better to do, so we thought, why not? Let's get on here and talk.
Friday night, we should be down the Iron Bridge, shouldn't we? Really, on a pub crawl, going to the commercial and then the Dukes.
Oh, that's a long time ago.
These are all pubs before your time, I think.
Yeah. I think when the Iron Bridge was knocked down, that was 1976 or something. I think it was knocked down. Or was it a bit later than that?
A little bit later than that. It was.
Yeah.
I would have known because I was in there in 1976, and I would have known.
Well, I remember walking past it as a child. 72, I was born, so yeah. So I used to pass it, but then I wasn't old enough. Even though I live in Aberdeen, I wasn't old enough to go. Well, probably been served.
But... Well, I'd like to say you weren't missing anything, but you were missing something. They had the best jukebox in there, and you could get served if you were 16 or something like that. You could go in, and the Dukes was around the corner, and the commercial was opposite. So every time I drive around that roundabout, I have a little nostalgia kind of thing. Oh, when we were 15, 16, 17, I
was great on this roundabout.
Yeah. No, it was...
well, it's changed a lot.
There are ghosts, people, drunken people
going across that roundabout.
Saying, is it closing time yet? And that was back in the day when the pubs were shut between 4 and 6. So like on a Saturday, you'd have to find something if you went out drinking in the day, you'd have to find something to do between 4 and 6.
And it takes long. It doesn't take that long to eat a bag of chips.
Well, this is it. You go around Capaninis, get a bag of chips, and it's back in the Iron Bridge.
Yeah.
But not anymore. Now we've got Zoom and
StreamYard. Oh, I honestly, this system is amazing. I've been wanting to do podcasts for ages, but I looked into it and it was just far too complicated. You needed so much equipment and different things like that. And then my son said to me one day, he said, "Oh, you should try StreamYard." And I'm like, huh? And then I came on it, and it does everything for you. Really, it's a nice little pack.
I think generally in life, you need to ask your son how to do something. Generally, it's like about anything, and your son. My son is 19, and he'll just say, "No, you don't do it like that. Much easier way. Do it like this.
Yeah.
Why are you doing it like that? Why?
Yeah, you're making life hard.
Why are you driving your car like that?
What are you breathing like that for?
You want to get a truck, So kids know it all, don't they? Really? So
they do, yeah. And I'm just like, right. Well, how do I use it? And he just said, just play with it. Just play with it.
Well, if I'm perfectly honest, I got not a new car, a different car this last week, and we got in the car, and it was like picking it up at 4:00. Great, picking it up at 4:00, and then it goes dark, and I couldn't get the windows down. I couldn't get the fan on. And my son just said, "Well, it's there," and he'd seen it on YouTube. He knew all the controls of this Mini
before you
on YouTube. It's like, how do you? Well, it's all on YouTube.
I had to. The bulbs went in my car last week, and YouTube. I call it university tube. If I want to learn something, somebody on YouTube will show me how to do it exactly. When I looked in there, I was like, how am I going to get my hands in there? But then go on YouTube, and there was a guy said, no, you just pull this little thing up here, and the whole thing comes out. Yeah. I would have been trying to get in there, and university.
Cars have totally changed. You don't need that man in front of you with a white flag anymore.
You have to sit on your bonnet now rather than I'm about to run very fast.
And you don't blow up, if you go 30 miles an hour anymore.
I don't know. The car before I had this one, I blew the engine up. I forgot. Who knew you had to put oil in an engine?
Who'd have thunk it? Who'd have thunk it? This always gets me when you meet people who have their car serviced regularly, and you think, isn't that what dads do? It's what grandfathers do. Getting it serviced. I've never had a car service, but I'm thinking about it now. It might make sense.
Yeah. I've been told. My family have told me they've said, right, when the service light comes on, you need to. I'm like, what's the service light? And they said, see that light on now? All right. Right. Okay. Yeah.
And I'm like Homer Simpson. If a light comes on, you get a piece of masking tape, stick it over there, so you can't see it anymore. So it doesn't exist anymore.
I said, but I had a service when I bought it. I said, and they went, yeah, that was 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Like, oh, right. Okay. Yeah. Well, there's been a lockdown. I haven't been anywhere. I haven't been. It hasn't done any mileage.
It might help your car get through the MOT, in a year's time. So
that's very true, because it did cost me a fortune last time. Oh, cars. So
that's why I've got a new car, because my Land Rover didn't get through the MOT, and it would have cost so much money. I would have to have, given the Elon Musk a ring and can you help me out, Jeff Bezos, to get my Land Rover back on the road? Who are you?
That's been my problem for years. I buy a car, and then it gets to the MOT and it fails, and it's like, it's going to cost. And then I get rid of that, and then I would just buy sheds after shed after shed. But this time I thought, right, buy a nice car and it lasts me. I did have a Mini for 6. I bought a brand new Mini about 10 when they first came out, and I had that for a long time. But then,
you had a Mini.
I had, and they're great little cars. It's like driving a go-kart, but
they are great. Yeah, they're quite low down, but what?
Expensive to mend.
To mend? Oh, right, okay.
BMW.
I better not get it broken. I'm going to keep it in one piece. In like, thanks for the advice. That's great advice.
Very expensive to mend.
Right. Okay. But they are like it's like driving around like what's that Oh, Mike. What's that song? That film, Groovy Baby, Behave.
Oh, yeah, Austin Powers.
Austin Powell. It's like driving like Austin Powell. It's like because it's bright red. It's
All
like
right.
it's like a cross between him and Michael Caine. It's like you're only meant to blow the bleeding doors off.
Michael Caine did play his dad, didn't he?
Is what?
Michael Caine played Austin Powers' dad.
Oh, did he? Right. Oh, I'd forgotten that. Yeah. So I am looking for some gold bullion to rob at the moment, if you know of any. I can do that. I'll be going down the St. Elvan's steps.
Well, if I find out, I will let you know because I'm after some gold bullion as well at the moment.
I'll get you some. Next time Italy are playing at home, I can do it. Yeah, do it for you in the world. Next World Cup, I will need a white car and a blue car to help me.
Well, we'll have to have so yours is red. No, you need a green one and
oh yeah, a green one and a white one.
Yeah, a green one and a white one.
I'll put something on Marketplace on Facebook. Green and white minis needed for job. Next Friday morning. Next Saturday during the World Cup.
I could feel a film coming on you.
Yeah, it's got the script going. Yeah.
Maybe we could enter into the Cannon Valley Film Festival.
Well, I'll tell you what you need. This is what you need. Okay, I'm
right
back now. Okay, this looks like a lateral flow test, but it isn't. It's a packet. Pick a card, any card. It's a packet of cards.
It's a packet of cards.
Well, no, it's not playing cards. These are index cards. What we used to call index cards.
Oh, I remember them. The old hospital radio library.
Well, it's how you write the film. Scene one.
Scene one, yeah.
And then scene two, and etc. When you've done 80 of these, that's your script. That's how all the best filmmakers make their films.
Ah, yes.
Yeah, David Lynch. That's a David Lynch thing.
Yeah. So basically, it's storyboarding, really, is it?
Well, a storyboard is you'll do a storyboard for a scene.
Yeah.
A card will tell you, name of the scene, who's in it, and what happens. But the storyboard will tell you the shots.
Right. Yes.
It might be one shot, or it might be 20.
I'm writing this down now because
if it's James Bond, it'll probably be about 100.
Oh, it's a small sitcom, so so that would be six. There's 6 scenes, so six cards.
6 scenes, 6 cards. Each scene will have a storyboard, and can you draw a mermaid? It's always very good if you can draw something very basic like a mermaid or a duck
or
a Minnie.
Oh, Minnie.
Going down some steps. Storyboards don't have to be anatomically correct. They can be figurative or surreal because you're the only person who's ever going to see them.
Yes, surreal.
Unless they end up in Bonhams or Sotheby's in 20 years' time.
Well, I suppose more surreal they are, more money they'll be worth.
Yeah. If it was like John Lennon or Spike Milligan making a film, they'd be quite interesting. But if it was Michael Caine making a film, it might not be so interesting. Well, nothing against Michael Caine.
Alan Bennett. Yeah, we'll pick on Alan Bennett.
Alan Bennett. Alan Bennett would be like, she sat on a chair. She doesn't move. She speaks to the camera. She notices something under the dresser. And that would be the action movie. It would be like, I got up one day and there's a Volkswagen camper van in my drive. Just a folks with a woman stood next to it. Keep it simple.
Keep it simple. Well,
Simple.
that as a director, that's a good thing for me, because that's what I'm doing at the moment, is working on direct. So that's going to help me with my
right. Yeah.
Look, we're learning already. We've got.
If someone says to you, "What's my motivation, Garen? Benny? What's my motivation?" You say, "Just keep it simple. Keep it simple. Let me think about it for a minute and keep it simple."
Just keep it simple. Well, and that's but most of my stuff is I try and write it as simple as possible, so it doesn't complicate things.
Yeah, well, it really is nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, it's just as long as the story is there, then it'll carry itself. Then, as long as you've got a good story, I believe.
Well, I think so. Yeah, I think so. Or no story at all.
Yeah.
Just make it stylish.
No, that's me. The nice story and stylish.
Yeah.
That's the next project.
Well, you can choose your genre. You could say, "I'm going to make it film noir."
Film noir.
Or I'm going to make it David Lynch-like, and it would be very expanded colors and moody synth music, and a dwarf.
And a dwarf.
In a red suit. Or a white suit, preferably.
Dancing.
Dancing, yeah.
Don't forget
dancing backwards.
Yeah. I love Twin Peaks. I love Twin
Peaks.
But I haven't watched the last thing, because it's like, no, I just want to remember the original Twin Peaks.
It's good. It's good though. It is good. The follow-up series is worth watching.
Oh, then I will watch it. Then I will watch it.
I would. Oh. I would if I were you.
I'm putting that on my list as well. New Twin Peaks.
Well, I think it's about 6 years old now, but it is.
Well, it's still new to me because I haven't seen it.
Yeah, there's always something new to you, really. If you've never,
never seen it before, it's new to me.
Have you seen the new Beatles Get Back movie? Oh, is it new? Yeah, it's new. It's it's made in 1967 or 1970, which, by the way, is really good.
8 hours long?
Well, you don't have to watch it all in one go. It's 3 episodes, and you pick it up as you go along. But it's you're in the room. You're in the room with the Beatles.
Yeah.
And it's uncomfortable.
Oh, well, no, I was going to say, a lot of people have said to me that it's very sad in places.
Sad?
Sad. Yeah, my friend said it made him feel very sad in places to see that them sort of losing, sort of distancing themselves from each other, kind of thing.
Well, I think their mansions were large enough anyway to distance themselves from each other.
Yeah.
I found it. I actually did find it a bit sad, in as much as you remember being. I mean, I'm older than you, so I remember being, 10 years old or 11, and the Beatles split up. There was so much hope and promise when I was a teenager. What went wrong? It's when you get older, you think, oh, I wish I could go back then with what I know now and start again.
Yeah, I think that quite often.
It's quite sad in that respect that they look so young. Well, they are. They're only like 27 years old, or they're very young.
Well, I seen an article the other day, and it quite shocked me. And it said, this is going to make you feel old, because this is the Traveling Wilburys. And I am the age that they were when they were I'm 50. I'm coming up to 50 now, and it's just like, but no. The Traveling Wilburys, they were all old men.
Yeah, like you.
Yeah, I'm just like, no. But I suppose because they've been around in their own right for so long, they just seemed so much.
Well, I was in London at the time, and a post back in the days where posters would appear on the wall, pasted up, and this poster came up. It was like, people saying, "Have you seen that spoof thing, the Traveling Wilburys?" It's a spoof. It is, because it looks like Bob Dylan is in the same band as Roy Orbison. It's like, and George Harrison's in it as well. No, it's a joke. Actually, it's a joke. Very funny. It's a very funny joke. And then someone said, "No, it is real. No, it can't be real. It can't be real because Tom Petty's in it."
Petty, yeah.
What's Tom Petty doing in it? Where's his top hat? He's not wearing a top hat.
Whose idea was it? I know, boys.
It was Jeff Lynne's idea.
Yeah,
which is a good idea.
Well, yeah, but who would have thought that they would have pulled that he would have pulled it off?
Yeah. It's the most unlikely marriage of 5 people. It's ridiculous. They're all singers.
Yeah.
Who's taking lead vocal? I'll take the lead vocal. I won't be the vocalist.
I didn't think of that. I really didn't think of that. Of them all being lead.
Yeah. Bob. Yes, Bob Dylan, you're on drums. I can't play drums. Tom Petty's on drums. I'm not on drums. I can't play drums. We should have got Ringo in, shouldn't we? Oh, what were we thinking? We didn't get a drummer. We all play guitar and we all sing.
Can we swap George for Ringo?
Yeah, we need a bass player. Does anyone have Paul McCartney's phone number? Is Sting available at the moment?
I couldn't imagine that happening now, though. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, of course you can. Ed Sheeran, Adele, Beyonce. Yeah, they'd all be there. Beyonce, you're on drums. I can't play drums. I'm singing. Ed's on drums. I've only got a little guitar. I can't go on drums. I can barely play this guitar.
I can tap my guitar.
I can tap it. But otherwise, no, we can't do that. And then you've got Adele saying, then I've never played a drum kit. I'm really sad that I played. We'll write a song about never having a drum kit.
How sad I am because I can't play. None of us can play the drums.
Or guitar. Or anything. It's not very fashionable anymore to be able to play anything. It's, Prince could play anything.
Oh, yes. A hero of mine, Prince. I think you said, he was a genius.
And that's why the Illuminati killed him.
You just took the word right out of my mouth.
Because he could play any instrument.
Play anything.
It's like getting on their nerves. It's like, we got to get rid of that guy. We have to replace him with someone who can play a very small guitar. And a couple of people who can't play anything. I feel safer in my pyramid.
Oh, God.
If we do that.
There's another.
I should have got a drink. You got a drink, did you? Oh.
Professional.
No, I haven't got any servants to get me a drink, but
I've learned before you start a podcast, get a drink and feed the cat.
Well, I did. Do you know? I just fed the dog 2 minutes before I give you a bell. So.
Because otherwise, he will just come and disturb me on purpose. Even though he wouldn't be there 10 minutes before, it's like, I'll give you some food now and you leave me alone. And he will. He blackmails me.
No, I don't, but that's just not my servant. My servant wench has just brought me a drink. Oh, the dog's in now. Great. Can you take the dog away?
The dog could have brought it in for you instead.
Well, the dog is really, really not very well trained. But I mean, I used to have. There's always someone to disturb you on Zoom things. It's kind of traditional, and Prince used to live with me, and I miss Prince terribly because he would have come in now, and he would have said, "Have we got any cake?" And I'd say, "No, we're doing a podcast.
We're on a podcast, Prince. Yeah, wait for your cake.
We're out of coffee. Can you go and get? No, I can't."
Demanding he was. Very demanding.
Oh, he was demanding. When you could see him, I've seen Prince. I saw him at Wembley Stadium, and he climbed on top of the PA. massive PA, and he's literally like, well, we were quite far away. he looked like he was about 6 inches tall, but very acrobatic.
Yeah, I mean, apparently good at basketball.
Really?
Yeah.
As the ball, I can imagine. I mean, I can't see him with the Harlem Globetrotters myself, but
fast apparently, because he was small. He could
in between the legs.
Yeah, there's a story. Eddie Murphy's brother. And there's a sketch, but it is a true story about Prince, and they go to Prince's house and have a game of basketball. It's hysterical because Dave Chappelle. There's a sketch, Dave Chappelle Prince sketch. You can find it on YouTube. It's absolutely hysterical, and it is a true story. And
I will look it up.
Yeah,
I can imagine him being very, very good at anything, though. I mean, he's good.
Whatever he put his mind to.
Good on piano, good on bass, good singer, good everything. And I can imagine him under a Ford Cortina. He'd be up with the bonnet, changing the spark plugs. Yeah, he'd do that. Yeah,
he does it all himself.
yeah. Just like change the brake pads on a Beetle. No problem. Princey's in the garage. Yeah. Anything.
He could put his hand to it. Crocheting, he was brilliant at crocheting.
You took the words right out of my mouth. I was going to say knitting then. I can imagine Prince with 2 giant needles.
Well, the crochet ones were like giant needles, still big, and that's why he picked on the crochet in the end, because the knitted needles were far too big for him to.
But they were like drumsticks.
Yeah.
And they were like, I can't use those knitting needles. They're not Zildjian. They're not. I need Premier. No, I'm showing my ignorance. I don't know any drumstick manufacturers now. I'm resorting to the drums.
That's what I'm trying to think of now. What drumsticks are I'm trying to look. Have I got a drumstick around the place?
I can't remember who make them. I should know. I used to have a guitar shop when we did stock drumsticks.
Brecon.
They were cheap ones, though. But
yeah, but if we sell the cheap ones, they'll come back and keep coming back for more. Then because
they're not very good.
They think they're really, really good drummers and they're breaking them, but it's not. Yeah, I'm just saying. Yeah,
crap drumsticks. Yeah. You get what you pay for, really, with drumsticks, don't you?
Very much. Yeah. I wouldn't fancy carbon fiber. Yeah, they probably do carbon fiber ones now.
I think Elon Musk has developed a perpetual motion drumstick that lasts forever. But you can't do that, you see, because light bulbs, like the light bulb behind us there, they don't last forever, but they can do. It's just that they were designed in such a way that they break periodically. It's like Moggy Thousands, the cars. It's inbuilt obsolescence. It's on purpose,
Oh well, they used to everything. I got stuff here that I've had since I was little, and they were built to last. Now everything's built to break, really, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, that could be a conspiracy, but it's probably true.
It is. I think it is. Yeah, because everything's rubbish these.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a big Blur fan, but I do like the title of one of their albums was "Modern Life is Rubbish," and I thought, yes, it is rubbish. It was and that was predictable. That was predicting 10 years, 15 years in the future, because modern life is rubbish. A lot of it is rubbish. I think 98% of it is rubbish.
Yeah,
2% is this podcast.
Yeah. Just like so, I've started watching telly these. I can't even watch telly these days.
Well, if you do watch telly, it's like this: a small town. Young girl goes missing. Man comes along. They get this ex-police genius to come along. He's an alcoholic with a a bad family behind him, a bad breakup marriage behind him. No one is talking to him, and he begrudgingly takes the case on, and then it gets all like supernatural, and then the FBI come in, a drugs deal goes down badly, and there's a lot of gunfire, and Ed Sheeran comes on at the end with a little guitar and sings,
and does the drums.
There's a theme tune, on the drums. It's called writing by formula, and it used to be in the old days you'd get this four weddings and a funeral formula.
Yeah,
which is kind of. I watched the film a few nights ago with Jeremy Irons. Don't watch it. Don't watch it. If you ever see it, don't watch it. It's 4 weddings and a funeral reshot in America, and it's predictable. I knew what was going to happen a week before I watched it.
See, this is the problem that I got. I'm watching things, and it's just I'm working out the plot straight away, and it's just like, So I just don't. I just watch fantasy films instead.
Although there is one series called The Woman Across the Street Watching the Little Girl in the Window, or The Girl in the Window. It's called that. It's quite long. And that is worth watching because you will never predict the killer.
Right.
Never. Right. They've done it on purpose so that everyone is screaming at their TV going, it can't be whoever it is. It can't be them.
Oh, I've seen that. I've seen that advertised. So I'll have to. Is it on Netflix, isn't it?
It's on Netflix. It's really good. I like the fact that they've got a really, really long, unwieldy title. That's good.
Yeah,
and she's an alcoholic. She's drinking like huge bottles of wine every day, and which is funny.
Doesn't she's schizophrenic? She thinks she's losing her mind, doesn't she? Or so,
yeah. She's a big drug deal went down badly, and the FBI came in to sort it out, and the sister went missing, and they had to get the hardened cop in to sort it out.
Played by BBC.
No, it's a good plot because it's not really that predictable thing. You can't really predict it as well.
I'd probably enjoy that then because I just find everything so predictable these days, and it's just like, there's no new ideas out there. This is why we write things.
While I was walking my dog earlier on our dog, and I was thinking about mentioning to you about this now, in as much as it's predictable, but people might like that because it's kind of it's comfortable. It's they you might know it. Oh right, it's like right, okay. So it was her, it was him. Oh right, yeah, I thought it was, and I get a bit of comfort in that it was a bit like the other 12 things
we watched.
The last 12 things, they all had the same story. So
and probably the same actors.
Pardon?
Probably most of the same actors.
Oh, I love that when you get an actor in and you can't shake the fact that he was in something else or she was in something else.
Yeah.
Because it's like, why isn't she autistic in this? Because she was autistic in the other one. Now
she's in jail now. She was in jail in the last.
Yeah, how did she get out of jail? Oh, she's an actress, right? So it's not real. I thought they were all documentaries. There was one thing, the bridge that we were watching. The bridge is fabulous. And
that's Norwegian. Is it Norwegian?
It's Swedish. I thought it was Swedish Denmark. Denmark.
I seen some of that,
and it's great.
Yeah,
and the guy in it, every time he would say his name, it sounded like Martin Rehe. It was never, you could never pick up his second name, Martin Rehe. And he was in it, and then a year or two later, he was in Killing Eve. Obviously playing a different character, but looking exactly the same.
Yeah.
You're thinking it's Martin Ray. He's got a different name, but he's kind of typecast, so he was playing the same character, only much funnier.
Yeah.
But it is difficult to shake that, which is why people like Hugh Grant will play the same character.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
He's made a living out of playing the same toff for the last 100 years.
Yeah, he has. It's only the last two films he was in. He done a Guy Ritchie film, didn't he?
Yeah,
where he played up kind of opposite himself, but yet he's in the new Guy Ritchie film and he's playing exactly the same. But it's exactly the same character. The accent is exactly the same.
Well, if you're a film director and you're looking through all the potential people available, you're going to say, "Oh, Hugh Grant's available. He's only 2 million. He would suit that English character, wouldn't he? Yeah, we get him as the English character, stuttering, stumbling, falling in love with the American girl, and she loves him because he's stuttering and stumbling and posh." And she thinks that he's got a mansion in the country, and he's Eton educated, and maybe he is, maybe he is. So, and Hugh Grant's not going to go, "I don't need the 2 million." He's going to say, "Yeah, go on and give me the 2 million. Yeah, I'll do that."
I know I would.
I don't mind. Yeah, we wouldn't, because we've got principles.
Of course. It would at least have to be 3 million.
Well, you'd say, that's not my principle. I just shan't do it. You keep the money. I was going to give the money away anyway, so you keep the money. But I want to. My favorite word of the last decade is challenge.
Challenge.
Yeah, if you listen to Radio 4 or anything, people will, if they're struggling for a word, they'll just say challenge. What was it like growing up in Toxteth? Oh, it's a challenge. You're running this marathon. Do you think you'll be able to do it? It's a challenge.
Oh.
You've got. Have you got funding for this film? No, I haven't. But it's a challenge. It's
challenge is the new word.
Oh, well, I wish I hadn't told you now, because once you identify it,
they're gonna have to change it.
It'll be, you'll be walking into the newsagents and they'll be like, all right, guys, all right, what do you fancy for a challenge today? Oh, we said challenge. Yeah, people say challenge all the time. It's mostly inappropriate, but they don't know
what else to say.
It's the beautiful thing about when people are on the radio or TV and they haven't done it before, they'll fall into obviously. They'll go obviously, yeah. How old are you? Well, obviously I'm 29. And it's like every sentence will start with obviously.
Yeah.
So
and there's another one. But yeah. But everything is but.
Well, I was taught in school, to have good grammar school education, that you couldn't start a sentence with but.
Yeah.
But we all do.
But we all do, yeah.
And we start sentences with and all the time, and so. Yes, so is the obvious one. But they'll talk to, a person on the street and they start with so. And you'll talk to a professor and he'll go so. And they'll talk to a billionaire and he'll say so, blah, blah, blah. It's become that go-to start of a sentence. It's like you're going to be fined if you don't start the sentence with so. It's like a board game. It's like a charade. It's like a parlor game. Can you say a sentence without starting so? So. Oh, no, I did it. No.
Oh, yeah, without saying yes or no. So.
Oh, it's such a challenge.
This sounds like a good radio play, but radio quiz, but there.
Yeah, just a minute. Yeah, just a minute. How many times can you say? How many times can you say so in a minute? Yeah. So, ask me about the film festival.
Oh, the film festival. Yeah. So tell me about the film festival. When it came up on my feed, I got quite excited. I was like, oh, this is. I think this is a great thing that you guys are doing. It's two passions of mine, which is the place I live and filmmaking.
Yeah. It's I've got a bit of a background. The last 5 years I've spent in this learning what I know as a background now. And when I say to people, "Oh, Cunnon Valley Film Festival," they say, "Well, there aren't any filmmakers in Aberdare in Cunnon Valley." And you go, "Well, that's not the point. Actually, there are some, and there's a lot of actors about. However, it's an international film festival. Well,
Yeah.
how are you going to make that work? Well, trust me, I know how to make it happen.
Yeah.
It's a challenge, but I do know how it works, because I made a feature film 4 years ago called Greed.
Yeah.
Before Steve Coogan nicked the word. I've learned over the years, never call your film greed or heist or rent or one of those words. I'm working on a new film which is called Bungalowland Tiki Toki. No one's going to get confused about, is that the one with Bob Hoskins?
Just say yes. Just say yeah. That was my film. That was my film.
So I did Greed, and once it was a stage show, Greed the Rock Opera, and we toured it, and it was unwieldy, and I decided to make a film. Had not made a film before, but I thought, well, how hard can it be? I'll do it anyway. And once I'd made it, I realized you can't show it in cinemas because Sony and Universal and all these very large, they've got it sewn up, and it's not going to happen. The only way you can get it shown in a cinema is like a film club. And I thought, well, okay, we can do that. But I was initially thinking about, it'll be on YouTube. Okay, we'll do it that. Then I did a bit of research, and I realized actually what you do is you enter into film festivals globally. And there's one website in the world. Well, there's two actually, but one is the one that everyone uses, Film Freeway.
Yeah.
And it's like a portal. It's like one of those. It's got like fire around it, like that. It's got like lights around it, and you go through the portal, and you register your film, and it shows you 10,000 film festivals to enter. You probably know. So I entered the film into 43, and I got accepted into 8. And when you get accepted, you get given.
Laurel leaf, is it?
You get given the laurel leaf. This is Greed on one of those oldie worldy CDs that you can play in your car. And the nice little insert there, you can see the poster for Greed the movie, and they are the laurels. And they say on it things like Colorado Film Festival, and there's one in Scotland, one in Spain, one in Sweden, and once you get accepted, they send you the laurel, so you can put it on your poster. So it's like, it looks like a proper film now.
Yeah.
Once you've got it on your poster, I tweeted. I said, 8 awards. Who does anybody want to distribute it? And straight away, company in Greenwich said, we'll distribute it for you. We'll get it onto Amazon Prime. So now it's on Amazon Prime. So it's one of those. It's a route. If you're a filmmaker, it's a route. Film festivals are a route to other things.
Yeah.
It might be funding, or it might be distribution, or getting your film on Netflix, which I wouldn't really advise, because they give you 50 quid and never give you any money again. So it's Amazon Prime will give you £10 every 2 months for the rest of your life. But it's still nothing. It's just you're never going to give up your day job on that. But at least you've got a film which is available.
Yeah, and it's getting recognition as well, because if you're sending them sort of around, you're gonna have people that might think, oh, I like the way he's directed that, or I like you get work that way, I suppose, as well.
They may do, they may do. I was in a pub in Brecon with Ian, the main character. There he is. He's kind of pushing 80 at the moment. I think he's pushing 80. And me and him were in this pub in Brecon, the Brecon Tap, and this guy walked past us and did a double take. Oh my God, you're from Greed. It's like, what are you doing with him? It's like, and he thought, how come you're with him? Because he's the baddie.
Yeah,
you're the good guy. You're sat there drinking beer. It's like, well, it's not real, actually.
It's a film.
Fictional. But thank you very much. So once I'd done that, I moved back to Aberdeen 4 years ago, and I got involved with a record label called Soond Records out of Swansea.
Yeah.
Mike Kennedy and Jeremy Gluck, who's got the best name in show business. And Jeremy Gluck used to be the singer in the Barracudas, if you ever remember that. He's Canadian. Barracudas had hits in the 80s, the early 80s. Kind of a surf band from... they were from Canada, but they were in London. So he's part of the label. And I mentioned the film festivals, and wouldn't it be good to have film festivals? So they said, well, could we do that? And we'll be the media partner, to use modern day parlance, and And I realized then that this portal that you go through to access all the film festivals, actually you can live on the other side and be a film festival and then crawl through the portal back through and access all the films. Actually, it's as simple as that. So you can set yourself up as a film festival in a matter of hours, but you do need a venue and you do need a website. That's all they say.
Yeah.
Bricks and mortar, like that brick wall behind you. Only a venue and a website, which anyone could get. So it went live for entries 3 weeks ago, and to date we've got 20 entries, and neatly 10 are from all over the world and 10 are from Britain. The 10 over the world, I had one yesterday from Russia, and we've had Brazil, Switzerland, Germany, 2 from France, 3 from America. It's one from Canada. One from South Korea came in. That was one of the first ones. It's like, wow. I can't tell you too much about it, but I was wondering whether it was South Korea or North Korea, but it is South Korea.
Yeah.
But, so the films are coming in globally. It's by the notification date, which is something like September. We should have quite a lot of films.
Yeah, and
under our belts. So
I'm really looking forward to it. To have something so international, which it is international. Happening in Aberdeen. It's putting Aberdeen on the map. And the Cannon Valley on the map as well. And so there's people now in North Korea or South Korea know about the Cannon Valley. Do you know what I mean?
Well, you see, if you were applying to go into the San Fernando Valley Film Festival, you'd think, wow, this is West Coast California. But it's probably a couple of guys in a village.
Yeah.
On the name. So Cannon Valley makes it sound like quite glamorous, maybe to someone in South Korea or anywhere. They wouldn't know, would they?
Hollywood, originally all the land owned by a Welsh. Hollywood was started by a Welshman.
Was it really?
Yeah.
Was it Tom Jones?
It was. It was his dad.
It was his dad.
It was his dad, yeah.
Jim Jones, yeah.
Jones, yeah.
It's not his real name, by the way, but
But so I reckon we could have Cannon Valley up on big white letters up on the.
Well, the poster I did a poster, and that's I gone for the obvious, and it does have Cannon Valley in white letters on the mountain already. So it's that obvious that you knew I was going to do it anyway.
Well, it's what I would have done.
That's about as imaginative as we get. But I check my phone like every couple of minutes to see if anyone's entered, and when someone's entered, you look at their page. They say, "Oh, great, they've submitted a submission." So you click on the trailer to see, or the film. Actually, you can watch the film, but you watch the trailer or the film. But they generally are not like that formula Hollywood Netflix film. There's no point in making a film. You can't compete with Hollywood or Netflix. There's no point. Absolutely no point. You'd be better off making a film of an elderly lady in a chair with a Welsh dresser and a cracker underneath it. It would be original, and a lot of these films are bonkers because they're not following the
basic
the template.
The original ideas, basically, aren't they?
Yeah.
And that's what I like about film festivals is it's what am I going to see today?
Yeah.
And usually when I've gone to them, it's sort of not expecting anything and finding things that have made me cry, have made me laugh, and all original work, and may not have been edited brilliantly or anything like that, but they told the story right. The effort is there, and that to me is the important part of it.
I totally agree, but the other thing is but 20 years ago, 40 years ago, you'd have to splice the tape. I was doing stuff in the 80s using videotape, and it was really laborious, and quality would go down and rubbish, But it's one of the 2% that is good about life nowadays is the digital aspect. You've got a camera, and you're not wasting film. And if you go to the University of the Tube, you can learn how to. I did read on a free download software called Lightworks. You just download it and you use it like online, and you can learn how to edit.
Yeah, I did start back. I think it was back last year. A little group on Facebook, a private group of. And I kind of invited everyone that I knew that was interested in sort of filmmaking and everything. And I post stuff on there because go one of these, you can make a film.
Yeah.
And my friends, I'm always making little films on my phone. Most of the time, I don't do anything with them, but each time I'm learning new things, and but anyone can.
These are the modern rats in London. You're never more than 6 foot away from a phone.
Yeah.
Or actually probably 2 foot away from a phone. It's always like there. There's a there's a scene in Greed the movie where he's talking. Rotkin says that he invented the phone as a way of tracking people, because it's you can't put chains on them, you can't inject them, you can't put things in them. But if you give them one of the ability, they'll buy it themselves.
Yeah,
they'll pay to be tracked, and the Illuminati or whoever know exactly where you are, because you got your phone. Jeff Bezos, he's got like a big wall. There's just thousands of screens that you can tell where you are. But
he's not watching
Jeff
me.
Bezos. well, he might pick you up and he put you on Amazon Prime. It's like, we found guy we need. So the digital aspect of it means that you can learn, and you can. I've been doing film workshops the last year during lockdown, and I actually said, when you're using your phone, use it that way.
Yeah.
Don't use it that way.
No,
Because the reason being is that that's like the shape of a computer or a screen, and that you need black bits on the side. However, in the last 6 months, it's fine.
Yeah,
it's fine. You can have it like that. It's it's like the old thing about people get used to whatever they're told is right.
It is. And since TikTok came out, because it's all sort of that.
Yeah.
That's the new way of, because I've always sort of filmed that way.
Yeah.
But now I've been told, I was like, well, no, I'm making films, so I'm gonna do it that way. Yeah.
Yeah. And I was talking to one of the Cannon Valley Film Festival judges last night at an exhibition opening, because that's the kind of circles I go around in, and he was saying they're only that shape because that's the shape of the TV.
Yeah.
Or the TV, the film screen. It's I was quite surprised when I come online now that we haven't adopted that kind of shape.
Yeah.
Dreadfully old-fashioned.
I am. Yeah.
We should be like that, should we?
Well, hang on a minute. I can do that.
Okay. Oh, you can do that. There you are. That's. I had to come across a bit now. That's split screen. I discovered that. I made Greed, and then after I made Greed, I discovered all these other techniques that I could have used. And one of those was a split screen thing.
Yeah.
Which used quite a lot on Netflix, and makes it look very 60s if you do a split screen thing. And it's cheap because you can tell two stories at the same time.
At the same time, yeah.
Two plot lines can happen in one go, in one screen, and you can get the story to go on a bit quicker. But we still haven't got that phone thing really. It's no. This is back to the shape it was in the 70s. Square, like Dad's Army.
Oh yeah, I watch so many old shows. Let's take us back. So many. This is why I love YouTube. I don't watch telly. I watch YouTube, and you got everything on there. Everything that I used to watch when I was a kid is on YouTube.
Yeah. I'll quite often watch Nog in the Nog, which is before you, I think. Actually, it's kind of Nog in the Nog is cartoon. They're Vikings. It's hugely politically
incorrect.
It's about Vikings, and he goes off to find his. He sees a picture of a girl, Nanook of the North, and says, "She's going to be my queen." And he goes to Iceland to get her. It's like, and that's not the shop; it's the country.
Oh, right.
You would think it was a shop in commercials.
I thought she was with Peter Andre then, wasn't it?
Yeah. But you watch it and you think, actually, this is all wrong. But in those days, it was quite innocent that they're Vikings and they go and conquer.
Yeah, that's what Vikings did.
That's what they did, without saying the two words that they did. That's what they did.
Yeah.
But you can watch anything on YouTube. You can watch all that stuff, and which is great.
Oh, it is, and it is great because it's at your fingertips. If you want, do you remember? I wonder if it's I go on YouTube and it's there usually.
Actually, I am going to jump into this moment because this is part of the kind of ethos of. We are coming out of a pandemic. It's still around. Obviously, it's still there.
Yeah.
It's there. It's just the TV and the radio doesn't want to talk about it anymore. It doesn't exist. But there's still like 300 people dying a day. But it's dying every day. But that's fine. Pandemic is history, and we're coming out. And Richie Sunak is saying, "Oh yeah, Britain is getting. The economy is growing faster than it ever has. For the for the certain people. It's not helping us very much, but it's growing. So we're coming out of this pandemic, and I think really the establishment wants you to stay home. They're happier if you stay home watching Netflix and YouTube and
buying on Amazon.
Have your shopping delivered, have your takeaway delivered. We don't really want you out there because
you talk to each other then.
We can talk to each other. I always thought that laptops were designed for that reason, to keep you chained to your kitchen table.
Yeah.
And you couldn't go riot, you couldn't go protest, you couldn't go do things because you might miss something on Facebook. So you've got to stay there. Phones have kind of knocked that into a cocked hat because it means you can go round with Facebook. But the Cannon Valley Film Festival is like a cinema thing. It's like watching a film with another 40 people. And it's a different experience to watching it with your girlfriend or your dog. It's a different experience. It's we showed Greed in Galway Village Hall a few weeks ago, which is down Hereford Way, to 50 complete strangers. And it's quite an experience having your film watched by 50 strangers, because are they going to react? Are they going to get it?
Yeah.
Are they going to get the pitchforks out and the torches and run you out of town? But it went down very well because it's a film and they got it. So that film experience, and also the Rex Cinema used to be next to St. Elvan's, which is where we're having the film festival, which is kind of ironic. And that cinema was iconic of Aberdare. The Rex Cinema. I saw Clockwork Orange there. They wouldn't let us in, so we broke in, or we got into a window, and we climbed up the stairs and we watched it from behind. And this is the most disturbing film I'd ever seen. But I saw it backwards because because
you're behind the screen.
You're behind the screen. You get in through the window. You go up this staircase to a trap door. Push the trap door open and onto the stage, and it's like we're behind the stage now. So we did it. We went there 5 days in a row, and the first night there was just two of us. And by the fifth day, we charged everyone 20p. And by the fifth day, there was like 20 of us all behind the screen. Schoolboys, all sort of like 13 years old, watching A Clockwork Orange. So that was the Rex. That's what.
Yeah,
people talk about the Art Deco kind of like of the interior. I talk about Clockwork Orange.
What did I Superman. I remember seeing that, the first Superman, and Christmas Eve, Star Wars.
Yeah.
In the Rex, Mary Poppins. Mary Poppins and Bed Knobs and Broomsticks were on the same day.
Well, you see, back in sort of like the 60s, 70s, 80s, there was no Netflix. There was no internet.
No videos or anything. It was.
I am going to get my die cup on in a minute, but my whippet. But video came along, sort of like at the beginning of the 80s. Video came along and changed everything. But before that, if you wanted to see the Deer Hunter, you had to go to cinema to watch it. So I go way back. My mother used to take me to the Bond movies, and we got chucked out of Dr. No because I was coughing. I was only about 6, and I was coughing so much we had to leave. So we only got through about half an hour of it, but I've seen it since. But there was a cinema club in the morning as well, 10 o'clock in the morning. All the kids would go in and watch, those old kind of stuff.
Flash Gordon and
all that kind of stuff was all shown then, and that was a long time ago. That was like probably early 70s, late 60s, early 70s. But that's what you did then. So, there is no cinema in Aberdeen, and I like cinema, but the view is a different experience to a cinema.
You got the Colosseum, but it's only very rare. They have in half term Spider-Man is there, so I'm going to see Spider-Man, and but it's not regular. You got to. I find the View or Showcase that kind of cinema. I don't know. It's not the same as it was when I was young.
It's expensive. It's expensive, and it's a way of selling you stuff you don't really need. The popcorn and stuff, but it's all highly expensive, and it's not.
I always stop in Tesco's on the way here.
Well, you probably get frisked on the way in by the usherette. Did you pack these M&Ms yourself? Is that popcorn in your pocket, or you? You could do that. It's not the same. They're trying their best to, but the whole cinema thing is kind of, it's run by the kind of like Sony mafia. It's not. It probably was in the old days. Who knows? But this one, the film festival is going to be full of stuff you've never seen before. It's also I'm trying to get hold of some footage of Hagar. Have you ever heard of Hagar? I think it was Samuel Hagar or George Hagar started the first cinema in Aberdeen.
Yeah,
which is next to Aberdeen Market.
Yeah,
big cinema. I think it's George Hagar, and there is some footage available which I'm trying to get hold of. So.
No. There was a film. Yeah, he made a film in Aberdeen, didn't he? It was like a Keystone Cop kind of thing. No, the museum used to have that because I've seen it. I watched it in the museum.
Yeah, well, they are one of our partners, so I might be able to have a word with Richard see if we can drag it out somewhere.
Yeah, because as you said, it's it was the first cinema in Wales. I think it was, wasn't it?
Oh, right, yeah. Well, that's important. That's quite
and he was a filmmaker himself. So it was, so that's a big deal in itself. So
I also got hold of some footage of a guy called Nick Evans, who's an artist. Did a lot of miners in his art, and the BBC did a 30-minute film about him, which is shot in Aberdeen, and all these people are interviewed outside Woolworths, and that might be interesting to watch that as well. I've got that. So there are some fringe things like St. Elvan's Church are talking about having a brass band maybe play songs from the movies, tunes from the movies. The day before, maybe, or the week before, we might get Ed Sheeran to come along and do some songs from the movies as well, or the local equivalent. But there might be music involved as well. So it's when you do these things. Myself and Karen, my partner, we started Brecon Fringe Festival, as you know, because you performed at the very first.
I did.
Fringe Festival, arriving on stage in a coffin.
I did.
Clarence, which was like a big moment for Brecon Fringe Festival, and we really didn't know if anybody would turn up. And of course, as you know, they came in their droves.
It was an amazing weekend. Well, and has been since.
Well, it's sort of it's grown and grown and grown and become very wide and quite tall, and bands like Spirit of Boogie say it's their best
Yeah, they love playing. I know they love playing
because they're going to get 500 people in a beer garden, closely packed together, jumping up and down to Celebration or Car Wash or one of those chic songs,
Yeah.
So you don't know if it's going to work, but would you ever do something if you were guaranteed it was going to work? You It's
that's a whole part of the process, isn't it? It's taking that chance of, it could work, it could not, but we don't know until we try.
Yeah. Like with Sound Records now, Sound Records is going against the grain. There is some downloading, streaming technology going on via Bandcamp and stuff like that. But we have been releasing all the acts on CD and some on vinyl as well, which is kind of maybe the wrong thing to do, but
Vinyl. I've started, even though I haven't got a record player at the moment because mine's broken. I still, if I see a vinyl of, then I still buy it. It's
Carole King. This is Carole King on blue vinyl. Wow, I mean, it's like she wouldn't have known anything about blue vinyl in those days. I don't think, but yeah, I play vinyl. It's with vinyl you have to listen to the entire album, and track 1 is important. Track 1 and track 5, they're important songs, so it's a different experience. It makes a change from listening to the first 30 seconds of a song, which is what most people do on Spotify, and then skip to the next one. It goes, I've heard it now, go to the next one. So it's if that's what they want to do, that's what they want to do, but it's different altogether.
I like to listen to headphones on, and because it's the whole process of listening to vinyl is that as soon as that needle hits the vinyl, it's like it's about to start. It's it's like right.
It's that psychosomatic thing, that psychological thing that wow is what's gonna happen. Normally, what's going to happen because it's you put it on. So
I did lots of times, but it's
But the trick is you play the one side and then you just lift the needle up and put it on again and again. I can listen to the same side 4 or 5 times before
you turn it over.
4 or 5 days before I get bored and go on to something else. It's a weird thing, but that does exist. So Sound Records are doing things against the grain, which is partly why they're involved in the film festival because it's kind of it's a crazy thing to do, really. But you've got to pull the stops out and try and make it work. With social media, there's no excuse about letting people know anymore.
No, that's.
If you know how to use it,
So if as long as you know how to use the tools of social media, then there's no excuse of not knowing it's there. But it's when you just rely. People think, I posted it on social media, it's going to be fine now. It's like, no, you've got to put it in the right places.
Well, it doesn't. It's not just as we know. It's not as simple as that. It needs to be liked and shared, and it needs to go a long way to a million people before 10 people will actually come to your gig. So it doesn't. But there's also things like if we were to project trailers onto St. Elvan's Church, that's there's 1,001 things that you can do to publicize an event, and I think you're going to need a bigger boat. You need to think outside the box.
Almost definitely.
Try to work on things. I was I've said this recently, but I was a Brecon town councillor, and I was on the committee for the Brecon with Bells on big light switch on Christmas, and I was on the committee, and I said, "Who did we get last year?" He said, "Oh well, we had the local table tennis player champion, ping pong champion." I was like, "Oh, that's great. Well, it was either him or the mayor's granddaughter. And I said, well, can we get someone, bigger this year? Who, let's think about who we can get, And we got Joanna Lumley because she had a connection with the Gurkhas because repatriation of the Gurkhas. She was involved in that, and we just wrote to her, and she said, "Yeah, I'll do it for nothing." And she came. So we had 5,500 people in the square, as opposed to 300 people the year before, because everyone, I know her from Ab Fab, and people older than me know her from the Avengers, and then the younger people know her from other films that she's been in recently.
Yeah,
my son was about he was about 15, and I said, "We've got someone to switch the lights on." "Go on, Dad, tell me, Dad." And I said, "No, I can't tell you. It's a secret. Anyway, you won't know who it is when I tell you." "Oh, go on, Dad, tell me." "Oh, go on, I won't tell anyone." He's in the high school. He's going to tell everyone. And I said, "It's Joanna Lumley." "Wow, Joanna Lumley from whatever film she was in." She was in a film with Hugh Grant, actually. One of those recent. I can't think what it was, but she's incredibly well known. So everyone wants to come to see her. See her on stage. She's got that pulling ability of Santa Claus almost,
Well, yeah, it's because she covers a lot of genres.
Yeah.
All, from grandparents then to the teenagers, everyone knows her because each decade she's had to stand up moments.
Yeah, she's had a hit in every decade, like Cliff Richard, and she's 105. And when you get up very, very close to her,
you can
tell. I mean, she's incredible. She's incredible. She's just an incredible image.
Yeah,
that image, and she plays on that image of looking like Joanna Lumley. She looks, is quite incredible, and she's not that large, but when you put her on stage, she's much bigger than Prince. She looks like she's about 8 foot tall because of the hair and the heels and everything, and she's a big presence. So I don't know who. We're going to have to work on that for the next 9 months to try and get some celebs in
at the film festival.
At the film festival, but
isn't Clooney come in? Is
Bill Clooney? Yeah, George's younger brother. Yeah,
that's right.
He looks a bit like him. Yeah, we could get. There's I work with a guy, or rather, one of our judges makes films, and he's very, very experienced, and he made a film, and he got some funding, like I don't know, 100 grand or something, and they had a wish list of actors, and they found oh, hang on, who played in Bonnie and Clyde? Who was the female lead in Bonnie and Clyde? What is it? Faye Dunaway. They found Faye Dunaway, and her agent said she's available. And they said, well, we've only got 20 grand. And Faye Dunaway said, yeah, I'll do it. Yeah, because actors aren't always working.
Yeah.
And it's like a paid holiday in Britain. Yeah, I'll go there for 2 weeks and 20 grand, and they put me up in the hotel, and she did it. So you do need to start that positive thing that anything is possible.
Yeah, and if you don't ask, you don't get.
If you don't ask, you don't get. And we haven't got 20 grand. But,
one of my things of, if you don't ask, you don't get.
No. It is as simple as that. Things can happen. So watch this space. We don't know what's going to happen yet, but it might just be a film festival where you get to see lots of weird films from South Korea and Canada. Is who knows what you might get.
I'm looking forward to it. I really, really am. And like I said, I genuinely
and local films as well. Obviously, there is some. I did say that half of the films so far have been from away, and half have been from Britain, and about 4 or 5 from Wales so far. So there's that aspect of it. It's kind of that's important as well.
And I think it's an opportunity for young, well, not even young people. There's people I know. There's people out there that are my age that want to do stuff, but it's just not having that sort of not knowing that how easy it is these days to and create, and maybe having something like that and having a basic workshop of how to make films yourself on a mobile would be fantastic. People like that.
Well, if everything goes to plan, the intention is to have monthly workshops then afterwards and monthly screenings afterwards. But the workshops would be for anyone of any age, who's got any interest in it. Because what I found about filmmaking, I'm kind of like yourself, into songwriting. I wrote a couple of novels which weren't published. And I'm into photography. And when I started filmmaking, I thought, wow, this is everything thrown together. The script writing, the visual image, the music, and the technical digital age, they're all thrown together to make a film. So if you want to get involved, you don't have to be an actor. You don't have to be the director. You can be the sound guy.
Yeah.
Lighting, you can be the storyboard guy, or you can be script writer, or an actor if you want to do the acting.
Yeah.
It's not that difficult acting, is it?
No. It's just pretending to be someone else.
Well, there you are then. Yeah, you can do that already.
Yeah.
I'll put you down for the workshop. You can take the workshop. You can be the lecturer on that one, on how to do that one.
I'd be more than happy.
Great. I've got your email address, so you can't get out of it now.
And it's live on your people will be able to see it,
So there's the workshops, there's the screenings, which will carry on going, because you can't just do it once. It has to be repeatable, and it has to be sustainable as well. To make it work, because the first year of Wreck and Fringe was great, but it was only the beginning. I knew it was with any luck it was going to get more venues, more people, and that's the other aspect. If you start something in the Cynnon Valley, it's not just for people in the Cynnon Valley, it's for people in Ebbw Vale as well. And they're on the, and you might even get people coming from Cardiff, and Swansea.
What, from Cardiff?
They might. There's a direct line.
Oh, there is.
Yeah, they can come.
A locomotive coming to Depp, doesn't it? I think.
I must tell you this story. I was talking to a very, very good friend of mine the other day who lives in Brighton, and he was talking about. We were talking about arty stuff and writing and stuff, and we were talking about the valleys and talking about. I live in the valleys, so. Born in the valleys, and I come back now after 40 years, and you look at the valleys and you can see how it's changed or where it's going. And he said, he was in Brighton, and he said to me, I'm going to have to go, I'm going to have my tea. And I said, oh, what are you having for tea then? And he said, what's that? What's that Asian soup that you have? It's quite a clear soup. I had this lined up, and now it's gone. It's an Asian soup, and it's ramen. He said, "I'm having ramen." I said, "Oh, I forgot you live in Brighton." At one minute you're talking about Aberdeen, and the next minute you're talking about ramen. It's I can't remember why I said that, but yeah, that's right. The people from Cardiff are probably going to be coming up and bringing their own quinoa, and their own kind of like their own. They'll have to bring their own foods. You know, do you have quinoa in Aberdeen?
They can leave
Yes,
it in Cardiff.
we have quinoa in Aberdeen. Yeah. Do you have bagels, or shall I bring my own? No, we have bagels. It's okay. So yeah, we might get it's like a 40-mile radius. You might get people coming along, as happened with the Fringe Festival. It was people were making a weekend of it, you know, coming
from I met people that have come from, you know, everywhere really to come to the Fringe Festival. When I was going as a punter, you know, you talk to people, and I've spoken to people from Birmingham.
Bands were coming from Birmingham and Bristol. You know, it was, you know, it's build it and they will come. It's where the action is at. You know, you're gonna make the effort to go. The only kind of like sticking point in the world at the moment is the whole lockdown culture and the whole Netflix culture and the whole Facebook culture of not leaving your house anymore. You know, which maybe that's fictional. I'm not sure. I think people still will go to something.
I think once everything sort of starts opening, I think they will, because I think a lot of people will want to get out. I know when I've been quite happy. I'm quite a solitary person anyway, so I've been quite happy to, you know, hide away at home throughout all of this. It's what I trained for the lockdown for years before, but even having the thing of no, you can't go. I was like, oh, but as soon as things are starting to open now, it's like this year I'm going to do as much as I can to make up for the loss of the last 2 years.
Well, oddly enough, the same guy, my friend in Brighton, has a band, and he said that he got in touch with 15 venues for getting gigs, and 13 came back and booked the band. It's like that strike rate is unheard of. So the venues are gearing up for a new space of time now where they can start putting gigs on again. So, you know, with any luck, we might see a resurgence of people coming out. I don't think pubs aren't so popular as they used to be, you know, 20 years ago, because of the, you know, I don't drink and it's so expensive anyway, but, you know.
Same, it's only on special occasions I'll have a drink. It doesn't bother me otherwise. I think working on the door for years and working in pubs put me on. It's like, am I an arsehole like them when I'm drunk? Probably. No, I'm not doing it anymore.
I think, you know, if you talk to like the young people like my son, they do drink every now and again, but it's nothing like the culture was 30 years ago when, you know, or 40 years ago when I was in Aberdeen. The culture was huge. That's what you did.
That was the thing to do, but everyone's quite happy to stay at home now.
Yeah. Well, there's just so much more to keep you involved. In Greed, the movie, in Greed the Rock Opera, there's a song called Bread and Circuses. And when I wrote it, it was a new thing to me anyway, the concept of bread and circuses. It's a Roman thing where people are going to revolt. So they throw a show on in a circle in a Colosseum, which is like a circus because it's round, and they throw bread into the crowd. So the people have their bread and their circus, their entertainment, and we have our McDonald's and our football.
And our Netflix.
And our Netflix and our pizza, and we're fine. You know, you just get fed a little bit and you get entertained. So everything is well with the world, you know. And you got like Boris having his champagne parties. My mother was in hospital. My mother died before Christmas, and she was in hospital. And I used to go and visit her every other day, and no one else could go in. I was the only person. Me and my brother were the only people, one at a time, we could go in. You know, with a gown on and mask and the gloves and everything. It's like you're looking like, you're from Casualty. And Boris was quaffing the Moet Chandon, like laughing at us. So do we revolt? Do we complain? No, it's just Boris having a laugh.
Yeah, and that's one of the things I understand.
Yeah, my KFC is coming in a minute, and there's something new on Netflix, so
yeah,
everything is okay. So how you get around that? It's a question of realizing we're being fed like maggots.
Yeah.
We're being kept warm like maggots and fed like sugary substances, sugary liquid, just to sort of like be there.
We've got a narcissistic government that it's they know exactly how to
yeah. So so it might change. We can only try our best to
well, again, another saying, if we don't try, then you gotta try. There lots of people say, oh, I can't see the point. It's like, well, because that's just, you've given up straight away. If you say there's no point, even if there isn't any point, you still got to do it just to make.
I don't know, because if it depends on your age. I'm 62, and if you're 62, you saw Rory Gallagher at Capitol Theatre, and you saw 10cc in Cardiff Capital, and you saw Thin Lizzy in the Top Rank, and you saw all these gigs through the 70s and the 80s. You saw these people, and it was all like the live experience. The live experience now is £125 to see the Rolling Stones or something. Or it's
I haven't. I refuse to go to big gigs like that. It's just because it's just about making money. It's not. They're not there for the fans. They're there to make, because they need some extra cash.
Yeah, but if you've been through that lifetime of witnessing punk rock, I witnessed punk rock. I was probably about 17 or 18, and I loved Yes and Genesis and all those prog. It wasn't even called prog rock. That was a made up term. I liked all those bands, and punk came along, and I thought, I don't like this, but things change, and you witness that, and you witness club music in the late 80s, the acid and the house, and for 3 or 4 years I was going clubbing every weekend in London, and you witness that, and then you go on, and now we got to the point where it's all about looking at a screen or looking at your phone, and not being there, which is that bizarre thing about when you go to an event, and everyone's got their phone
out
recording the event. It's like, you are actually there.
Yeah, watch it. Watch it and feel it. Don't record it.
I mean, I wouldn't slag that off. It's just the way it is. It's just.
It's when I love going to festivals, and I love live music. But when I go to festivals, that's the one thing I do. It's my time away from my phone.
Yeah.
And I put my phone away. I leave it in the car or whatever. And that weekend, I may pop back just now and again to see if there's something.
How are you going to remember that Ed Sheeran set? If you haven't got it on your phone, you'll have to go on YouTube.
Well, that's the thing. Somebody, the person with me, they filmed it, so I'll just watch theirs.
Woe betide that you have to go into your brain and find it there somewhere, the memories.
But I genuinely think that, in years to come, people are going to have problems remembering things, because they don't, it's, I filmed this, and then they can go back and have a look at it. But it's not that memory. It's we need to keep our brain active. It's the same with people retire. If they got really busy jobs, and then retire, it does affect our memories. Like, so I'm really concerned about it.
It's the biggest killer. I mean, I draw the line at playing the ukulele. I think that's a bit iffy, but it does exist quite a lot in lots of towns. You know, it makes you remember the words to down by the boardwalk. Although they were probably written down, but there's back in when videotape came along. And I was watching like Cheers or The Young Ones or something like that. I was recording them all because I thought, this will never happen again. It's a one-off. It's a one-off. We have to record the series every Friday. Get it on a tape because I'll be able to show it to my grandchildren. And all you're going to do is just go on Netflix or Amazon or Sky or something. Ted Danson and Cheers. It's all there.
All there.
Friends, all there. It's
I've got in the spare room. I've got a cupboard, and it's full of VHS of things that I've from Top of the Pops to and they're all there. And but I just can't chuck them away.
Chuck them away. That's what you need to do.
Chuck them away. My kids keep telling me, Dad.
I would say burn them in the garden, but that's not very good for the environment, really. Bury them in your garden. Dig a big hole.
Put them in a box. What do they call them? Time capsules.
Time capsules. But remember to video it on your phone, otherwise you won't know where it is. You'll be 97 years old, and I need those videotapes. I can't remember which end of the garden it was. I'll have to look it up on my phone. So yeah, that's what you're gonna
look in the cloud.
That's what you're gonna have to do. There was an artist. You must have heard this. The artist he's like a performance artist who destroyed everything he owned, from his car to his sheepskin jacket and his record collection, his CD collection. So he just destroyed everything in a big crusher. Yeah. And that was the act of doing it was the performance art until he had nothing.
Yeah.
And probably he's got them all back again now, but it's that idea of getting rid of everything could be great. It would be a challenge.
Yeah, well, I did back last year. I had a big clear out, and I got it because I was a hoarder. But this and I'm still renovating. And there's the back room now. There's still stuff in there, and it's like, and they're like, Dad, you're never going to play them again. You haven't even got a video player. And I'm like, I go on up the attic. I'm sure it works. We chucked it up in the last slot.
There is this theory that a friend of mine had a whole room full of vinyl albums, and he must have had maybe 1,000 albums. And he was trying to work it out that if he played an album a day, actually that's only 3 years, isn't it? That probably doesn't pan out. But you could probably books. You might never read a book again once you've read it once. You might not read it ever again. Should you give it away? I mean, I had this for Christmas because I saw the TV series loosely based on the film, which is loosely based on the book, and the book isn't really like either. But I've read this now, and I'd recommend it.
Yeah,
I'm never going to read it again. So really, it shouldn't go back on the shelf. It should go. It should go somewhere else.
I'm exactly the same. The amount of books that I got, and that's the one thing. It's like, no, you can't touch my books. It's just because
your book thing. What your book thing is that someone's going to come and visit you, and they're going to go, "Oh, you've got Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Oh, that's the 42nd anniversary copy, isn't it? Oh, you're intelligent, aren't you? Yes."
That's it. So most of them, I said, I've never even read.
Aren't you into? Oh, you've got some Flann O'Brien. My, you're intellectual, aren't you? It's like, well, actually, no, not really. But if someone walked into your room, your study, your man cave, and there was nothing there, you wouldn't have any kind of personality, would you?
Yeah. And then when they come in and see my vast array of books, from comedy books to sci-fi, and it's like,
Yeah.
always something to talk about, referencing. That's why I keep it.
They're on the train going back to Cardiff, going back to Catay's, eating their quinoa, going, oh, that Geraint Benney, he's awfully well read, isn't he? Awfully well read. We need to offer him a part in that new movie that we're doing.
That's exactly.
Did you see he had Flann O'Brien books? He's very well read, very intellectual. Yeah. Didn't have any boilers. He didn't have anything bought from Smiths. They were all bought from Ottakers and Watermans, all his books were. And did you see his record collection? Huge amount of blues, I noticed in there, and jazz as well.
Jazz, yeah. I don't play anymore. You're on there.
Very Catholic taste. I think we should cast him in the lead role. What he can bring to that role is, we've got this retired ex-cop, New York cop, who's got a drinking problem and a broken marriage, but he really loves jazz. Now, Geraint will be able to bring that jazz to the part. In the Stanislavski kind of mold, he'll be that cop.
I can't be that cop. I am that cop. I'm on
20 now. 2 million. Yeah.
Can we move him to Tennessee instead of New York, though?
Yeah, you can be a Tennessee cop, or you could be the Swedish on the border between Sweden and Denmark, one of the two, which just to give you a little bit of grit.
If the accent's bad, and they'll say, "Oh no, it's not bad. It's because I live on the border." So that's the accent for the border. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. We never know whether they're getting the accents right when you watch Nordic Noir. You don't know whether the accent. Actually, if you watch The Bridge, they speak in Swedish, but they also speak in Danish, and it kind of sounds the same anyway. So
you can't.
When they've switched, because they're on the border, so some of them speak Swedish, and then when they cross over the bridge, which is what it's about, you don't know. You're reading the subtitles, but you don't know if it's Danish or Swedish because it sounds the same anyway. And they share various words.
See, I'm going to write to them now and complain and say I want colour captions for whether they talk in Swedish or
Well, that's the fashionable thing now, is to color caption different characters.
Yeah. So the different which characters which.
Yeah. So if you know that someone's off shot and they come up as a blue caption, it's him. It's Flann O'Brien, and the main character in yellow. Well, it's Prince because he's on the screen. Ed Sheeran is in green and he's off the other side. But you know who they are. We're being trained. We're being trained. That's my conspiracy theory for tonight.
That's your conspiracy.
Yeah.
I like it. I'm gonna look into that. I love a good conspiracy.
Well, Greed was based on the idea for Greed in the beginning. It started life as a number of conspiracy theories, like chemtrails and banking and the Illuminati and bread and circuses and all this stuff. They were all. I was reading conspiracy theories, and I thought, there's a rock opera in this. If you tie it all together, you can do a rock opera.
As you do.
And as it went on, it turned out to be more of a documentary than a fictional thing anyway. Because it was, a lot of these things turned out to be true.
Yeah. Well, a friend of mine keeps saying, especially with conspiracy, everything's a conspiracy. Me and you talking now, this is a conspiracy. We can need to have a conversation. So
we're conspiring. If there's any two people talking, they're conspiring about something.
Yeah. So everything's a conspiracy.
Whether it's Guy Fawkes or David Icke, it could be either of those people. You see, if someone came into my man cave, they say, "Oh my God, you've got a David Icke book."
Oh, I got three. They're all by the side of my bed as well.
Well, I've got two, and some of the stuff in them is like, nah, I really don't believe that, and some of them you just think, yeah, that's I can believe that, yeah. Why not? You know.
I had a theory of this is my conspiracy theory of with David Icke of he well within everything that he says, there's snippets. But if he didn't say all the crazy stuff around it, then they would have shot him. You know?
Yeah, well, that was my very first thing when I discovered him. I thought, well, why hasn't anyone shot him? Because they'll take other people, you know, they'll total some people, just get rid of them because they're loose cannons, to just get rid of them. You know, it's easy for them to do that. But why not David Icke? And then when you look at David Icke, I like a lot of the stuff he says, and then you realize he worked for the BBC. He was part of that establishment anyway. So is he a plant anyway? You know, I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. It's a look. Have they made him to look over there? So then that's happening over there. Yeah.
Well, yeah. Again, I was walking the dog tonight, and I was going through my mind about we have phrases in the English language that we say all the time, and someone said yesterday about the ruling classes, and we take that to mean, oh, it's just how things are.
Yeah.
The ruling classes, and it's the plain truth in plain sight. It's no one's ever questioned the fact that they're all from Eton, and you know, like the David Cameron and the George Osborne, both from Eton. Marcus Welby, no, not Marcus Welby. That's he's a medical doctor. Simon Welby was the Archbishop of Canterbury. He went to Eton. Bamber Gascoigne went to Eton. They all, you know, they all get those fabulous jobs because they went to Eton. So everyone knows that. They didn't used to know it, but everyone knows it now. But we still say, fine, good, yeah. Boris went to Eton. Oh, that's fine, yeah. I mean, you know, if it was like Aberdare Boys Grammar School, you'd question that, wouldn't you? You'd go, my God, you know, the Chancellor of the Exchequer and the Prime Minister and the Ministry of Defence guy, they all went to Aberdare Boys Grammar School. You know, Pretty Patel went to Aberdare Boys Grammar School. It's like, what are the chances of that happening?
I think they got to stop getting them from Eton, because obviously whatever they're teaching them in Eton isn't good, because they haven't got a clue what they're doing.
Well, they don't have to, because I do know that they are taught to be. You are the ruling classes, you know. But I'm 7. Yeah, I know you're 7, but you know you will be the ruling classes. Can I go to the toilet? Yeah, you can go to the toilet, but you know when you come back, you are going to be one of the ruling classes, you know. But look, he just kicked me. No, it's not like you. From a very early age, you're in Eton. You're destined to be.
They groomed
in the Foreign Office. You're groomed to do that, but we didn't know that. But we do know that now. But we still accept it. We say, "Oh, that's fine. That's okay."
Yeah, and we shouldn't.
But you know, how do you do it? The main way of protesting is to start a film festival, and the best way is to attend a film festival.
Yes, definitely.
As a protest. You know, I'm attending Cannon Valley Film Festival because I disagree with the Eton.
As a protest, I am attending the Cannon Valley Film Festival.
Yes, I will do it. Yeah, until things change, I'm not leaving the film festival. I'm going to be on film festival strike.
I'm going to sit down in St. Albans.
Sit down in St. Albans. You could get a lot of people there in St. Albans.
Yeah,
get hundreds of people there. You know, until we see action, we're not moving. That's.
I'm with you. People.
Yeah, power to the people. Right on. Yeah. If Lennon Lennon was one of the people who was shot because he was too dangerous. You know.
Yeah.
Too dangerous to the people. Peace and love. He should have been singing about, he should have been singing about Bitcoin or investment or property or investment bonds or hedge fund managing. If he'd been singing songs like that, he wouldn't have got shot.
Fine. Yeah, he would have been fine.
If glamorized.
That's why all my songs are about hedge funds and
billionaires,
stock market. Yeah, so, saying how wonderful they are. It's
yeah. I think you should write a song because you should write a song about shell companies and offshore banking and Panama and the Canaries, and work it in like it's a good thing.
There's some good rhymes that rhyme with those words. I'm sure I could write a song about them.
Yeah.
Especially
it'd be a huge hit. Be a huge hit, But the thing is, you don't do it yourself. You give it to Adele to do, or you give it to Ed Sheeran to do, or
got to be Ed because being such a political figure as well, that it would go down well.
Yeah, don't bother giving it to Billy Bragg because it's just Billy Bragg again.
He'd just go around telling people about it rather than singing the song because.
It's got to creep. It does have to creep up on people, before they realize that what the song is about. Actually,
Yeah,
we thought it was about going on holidays in the Caribbean, but it's actually about people exploiting people for huge amounts of money and then hiding it all in the Caribbean.
Yeah, with your pina coladas.
Yeah, with pina coladas, exactly. Yeah, that's
the Pina Colada song. That's what that's based on. Apparently,
it is actually. Yeah. It's Barry Manilow was a prototype protest singer, the original protest singer, and he was slated to be one of the Traveling Wilburys, but he had a tour lined up and couldn't do it. He was going to be the drummer.
Right.
That's why George Harrison ended up playing drums.
Because Barry wasn't available.
Barry Manilow was not available, so it's one of those, family tree. Well, not family tree. One of those like trivia questions that you get in pop quizzes. Who was the sixth Traveling Wilbury? Was it Pete Best? Was it George Martin? No, it was Barry Manilow. Yeah. So that's what that song is. So we need to collaborate, write that song, and get someone famous like Joanna Lumley to do it.
Joanna Lumley to do it,
and then we'll be laughing. We'll be the one investing, sending them Seychelles. Then
we put into the Seychelles. Yeah, well, we'll just become one of them then. That seems to be the.
Well, if you can't, you do the Bono thing, and you can't beat them, join them. You become one of those people. By the way, this I'll give you a little tip now. This is hot off the presses. Every film that is going to be made in the mainstream, the Netflix, Hollywood, every film for the next year will be about the elite. I just watched a film called The Hunt. It's about elite people hunting rednecks, to a better phrase. And it's very, very good. But it's made me think, that's a little bit like that film and that series and that guy with that house in London. It's the new one of the new ideas that scriptwriters are picking up on is let's put an elite in one of our films. Let's take one of those one of IT, one of those exploitation, one of those people who've made it. Pardon?
And making them the baddies.
Making them, they're the baddies, because they're never going to be they're not going to be the hero. They're going to be the bad person. And I think actually, I preempted it with Greed because he's one of the elite. So remember where you heard it first. It was my idea.
See, if you hadn't put that on Amazon Prime, then they would. You started the trend.
And I really haven't made any money from it. It's cost me more than the money I've made. So
yeah, that's typical, though, isn't it?
but are you doing it for money or are you doing it for other?
Yeah, passion.
If you do get round to watching Get Back, the Beatles film, they really couldn't give a monkeys about the money. In it, they don't care about it. They are very, very wealthy, but they don't care. They only care about
the
their
work
relationship and the music that they're making and the message and the tunes and Spike Milligan. That's all, and Peter Sellers. That's all they care about.
Yeah,
because they're very well. That's my recommendation. Get Back. Yeah, it's well.
Then it is on my to-do list, so to watch list. So I will be watching that. And I've got it's on Disney. It is, isn't it?
That is the drawback. You've got to get one of those. You join Disney for a month.
Yeah.
Once you watch it, get out.
In and out.
Well, that is the way they do it, though. They get you with the,
Oh, yeah, and then you forget about it and you think, oh, I might as well.
You forget to cancel it, and then
as well for once.
You're looking at your bank statement on you look doing your internet banking, and you think £7 has gone out to Betamax or something, or £7 has gone out to MySpace. It's like, well, why have I still got a MySpace subscription? Because I forgot to cancel it. It's like,
yeah. I'm terrible at that. I used to forget all the time. I subscribe to things, and terrible. I could have been a millionaire.
Yeah, I think we could all been millionaires if we'd not gone into music.
Yeah, and into any entertainment industry.
Or any of the performing arts. No, just
performing arts.
Don't do it. Get yourself in the civil service or accountancy or bookkeeping, banking is always very, very good. Spend 45 years of your life behind a desk.
Yeah, and then retire and die.
Have brainstorming meetings every Monday morning, and office meetings, and talk around the water cooler every day. And then when you do retire, when you're 66, do your garden, do a bit of golfing, and shuffle off this mortal coil as
forget everything that you did.
Yeah, you could do that.
Yeah, no, I tried that, but it wasn't me.
What was
having a normal job?
Having a normal job is that's one of the lockdown phenomena. Is having the normal job and then realizing, oh, actually, I can do my normal job at home, and it's taking me 2 hours, and it's not taking me 8 hours, and I haven't commuted for 2 hours, so that 10 hours, I do it in 2 hours, get a round of golfing, do something in the garden.
Well, that's why I got my golf clubs out.
Yeah, I think a lot of people do have had that experience, but then again, I do know that a lot of people have been quite happy to go back to work.
Yeah, some people have been. They say there's far too many distractions at home, but I find that I've got work done much quicker when I do it myself and nobody watching over me.
I think some people miss Greggs as well and miss Subway. It's like
Greggs deliver now, man.
Pardon? It's what?
Greggs deliver now, I think.
Well, you can, you could take an hour in the day, drive down to town and get a Greggs and then go take it home. This is all part of it, actually, is that all your KFCs and your pizza places, they're all deliver anyway. So it's that takeaway. You don't have to go and pick it up anymore. It'll get delivered. I mean, that's crazy. And there's a song on my new album, Bungalow Land Tiki Toki, about the Asda deliveries. And if you sit in your bungalow or my mother's bungalow and you look out the window, you'll see DPL, you see Hermes, Tesco, freshly clicked. That's very clever. Asda, Royal Mail. The Royal Mail people are going, who are these people? Where have they come from? It's like, there's a queue up the road of all these delivery vans, and the postman's in the middle going, this is my domain. Go away. So, he's gone on strike now. He's gone on sort of like a film festival strike, and he's just parked his van outside. I'm not delivering until these clowns are gone, But everything gets delivered. So if I was going to go for one conspiracy theory, it would be to keep people at home.
Yeah.
Netflix, computers, deliveries, shopping delivery, everything.
So they don't look up in the sky. That's what it is.
That's quite a good film as well. Don't Look Up. Have you seen that?
Yeah, I enjoyed that.
It's good, yeah. It's very kind of on trend. And a bit too on trend, really, because even they've got one of the elite in it as a baddie, and he's so inanely likable and just undescribable that you don't think he's a baddie until halfway through.
Yeah.
I
thought he was going to be one of the heroes at the beginning when he came on.
Yeah. And then you realise that he's even going to financially exploit the meteor for minerals and stuff. So that's the way that he's thinking.
Yeah, even though there's no chance of him ever using it, but he's going to try and exploit it. Yeah, can't help himself.
One of the best things in that movie is Meryl Streep. They say, a meteor is going to hit the Earth. When? In about 6 months' time. When's the new elections, whatever they call the quarterlies or the midterm? When's the next midterm election? It's in 3 weeks. Okay, we can't have this happen because I'll be kicked out. And I was watching something on BBC News, and that Djokovic, Novak Djokovic, which I thought was hysterical because he wouldn't take the vaccine, and his name is Novak. And nobody picked up on it. None of the Sun, the Star, the Mail, nobody picked up on it. It was a headline waiting to happen. Yeah. Novak. No vaccination for Novak. It's like in plain sight. And they spoke to the Croatia Prime Minister, who said, we can't get involved with this. We can't have bad relationships with New Zealand because our elections are coming up. So it was a case of we can't have this huge outbreak of coronavirus in New Zealand. It looked bad on me as the president of Croatia. It looked bad on me, and I lose the elections. So death versus the elections, meteors versus presidents. It's art imitating life, and the other way around. Couldn't make it up, but obviously they did.
But they did. But the problem is there's only a minority of us that'll actually go, that's, and the people who just go over their heads.
I'm not sure. I think the whole kind of like definition of satire is that it works on two levels, and you got what they're trying to say really, and how comedically they're doing it. So you see the comedy and you get it. It's like with Dad's Army. When you watch Arthur Lowe, you think he's an old man who can't do anything, but he's a fine comedian who you dislike him, but you should like him. It's the wrong way round. You're being conned. He's conning you into disliking him for the pretensions, and it's a big piss take of class war.
It's emphasizing it more, isn't it? Really, it's making it bigger than it.
Yes, cartoonizing and satirizing the upwardly mobile-ism of it. But I think more people are getting Don't Look Up. I think they do. I think they get it.
Good.
Whether it makes any difference.
Well, that's the problem. Right?
Because everyone loves Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos because they're billionaires. So
yeah, and billionaires, we know billionaires do such brilliant things for us.
Yeah. So they worked hard. They worked hard for their money. They didn't work hard for their money. They exploited lots of people. That's how they worked out a scheme where they get a cut of everything, and it all comes to them. It's very clever, but despicable.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's know.
It's a wonder why someone hasn't taken one of them out.
Perhaps they have. It's their clone.
Well, I think they are fictional characters. Really, they are that sort of Paul McCartney in Abbey Road character.
The fake Paul McCartney.
Yeah, they're taken out and they replaced him with someone exactly the same.
Then why didn't they do the same with John?
Well,
because it was too quick. I'm sure he could have survived it, though, and they went, "Oh no, we'll just give you a patch on your eye for a while, and you'll be fine."
Well, maybe they did do the same as John, and John is like he's that Bill Hicks character, that sort of like they think that Alex Jones is Bill Hicks. Is like he does.
Yeah, there is a young.
Yeah,
Alex Jones.
Similar accent, right?
But no, yeah, that made me laugh. That one did.
Yeah.
Oh, well, we've done 2 hours.
Right. Okay. Lovely to see you. Bye.
Yeah. I've run out of things to drink now, and I go, no, the cat is gone out, so he won't bring me anything.
I've still got a bit of my water left, but it's Friday night, so probably go down the Dukes, catch last orders. Anyway, it's 5 to 11.
I'll wave to you from the Iron Bridge.
Definitely, yeah. Pint of Strongbow or special, not special brew.
Special, yeah.
What's Stella? That's what they used to do. Other lagers are available, but yeah.
Drinking Stella, I better make sure I put my vest on.
Put your vest on?
Yeah.
Or Stella, as in Stella the actor?
Well, no, because it's the thing that goes with drinking Stella of it makes you a bit round. So you.
Oh right, yeah, your vest on. You
can take your shirt off, see, can't you?
We can't say the word, but there was the vest thing.
Yeah.
But that is the best thing about drinking is the fighting at the end, isn't it? We always
see Aberdeen in the good old days.
Well, when I was back in the sort of like the early 80s, I was away, and I brought my band back to play the Boot Hotel. We did a gig in the Boot, upstairs in the Boot.
Oh, wow.
And it was great. And it was like a Friday night, and there was like hundreds of people there to see us. And I was telling the story to the singer. I was saying that last time I was here, I was walking past the Boot, and a chair came out the window, smashed through the window. And she was like, you're bringing us here to do a gig, knowing that a chair came through the window.
Safe.
Don't worry about it. It's okay. It's not going to happen tonight. They're going to be very, very friendly. And because they were very, very friendly. But, it was, in those days, there was an article in the Aberdeen Leader, as was the Aberdeen Leader then. And the headline was Wild West Frontier in Aberdeen, because there was transit minibuses coming from Birmingham to the valleys.
Yeah.
Friday night, and they'd stay for a couple of days because the drinking culture was so lively. They'd come down. They'd hire a bus.
Yeah, as a teenager, you had so much. You had I had the National. I had Flintstones. I had Connections, Market Tavern, Judges, and you had the Black Lion that had live music as well. You had the Con Club.
Yeah,
there were so many places to go.
It was the Conway was really popular when I was.
It was, yeah, that's right. Even though it's in the back, that's the first place we get off the bus from Mountain Ash and go start the night off in the Conway or with the Cambrian.
Yeah,
either side of town.
maybe live music will come back. I mean, I think the White Line are doing live music, are they?
Yeah, well, yeah, they do. Yeah,
Or is it it's an old chalkboard from 3 years ago?
No, they still do. I know they still do live music, or they were before the shutdown anyway. But I'm sure somebody played it the other day, I think.
Yeah, and Jack's, of course.
And Jack's, yeah, don't forget
Jack's.
Jack's.
Best live venue.
Only live venue.
The most well-equipped venue in town by a long chalk.
Yes, yeah, and I said now they can do all live streaming and everything now. So it's
yeah,
they got the equipment for that. It's
I'm sure I saw Elvis Presley there, or someone sounded like Elvis Presley before Christmas.
I don't know if he sounded like him. I know he didn't look like him, but
well, it looked like him a little bit, you know. But something about him was Elvis-like.
Pale, and he looked at looked like he should have been in a coffin. Yeah, it was. I seen that as well. He's
certainly did sound like him, you know. I think maybe Elvis didn't die on the toilet, and he
moved to the valleys.
He moved to the valleys because of tax reasons,
and just changed his name to Preselli instead to make it sound more Welsh.
Yeah, it's a very, very clever move. I think,
nobody gonna just shaved his head off. That's all he did.
Well, he would have really, because he wouldn't want to be recognised for his flowing black locks.
Exactly.
And he would have shed.
He's back on
the other things, the limos and the peanut butter sandwiches, deep fried. He would have got rid of all that stuff.
Yeah, it turned to leeks and faggots and peas.
Yeah, faggots and peas.
And I've always got cockles on my. Always have cockles around. You should always have a jar of cockles around.
Why would you have cockles? Well, why not?
Why not? Yeah, I love cockles.
We did the screening down in Hereford, and there was, like, as I say, 50 people turned up on a Friday night, and they sold. It was in a village hall, and they sold popcorn.
All right.
Because it was a film, so they were selling coffee and popcorn. So at Cynner Valley Film Festival, we should sell lava bread and cockles.
Cockles.
Yeah, cockles. Yeah.
I've even got a little
stick. Oh, a little cocktail, little cockle fork.
Cockle fork as well. I'm a professional cockle eater.
Well, yeah, maybe I can get that Dylan Thomas to come and open it for us. He can bring his cockles. Pay him in beer, put him up at the Black Lion or the Boots or something like that. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, the Boots. Well, yeah, he could stay in the Boot now. It's all flats.
Yes, he could move in with somebody there, put him up for the night. And, see if we can get him a job with the Travelling Wilburys. You could walk in, Dylan. This is Dylan.
I reckon if he can play the drums, he's in.
He's in, definitely in.
If he can play the drums.
I can't quite see Dylan Thomas playing the drums for some reason.
Well, he was a bit of a drinker, and he probably fell down the stairs a few times, and that would be like a drum roll, wouldn't it?
Like John Bonham in Rock and Roll, yeah. A wardrobe being thrown down the stairs. He'd be far too drunk to be a drummer, though, wouldn't he? He'd be like Keith Moon.
Oh, I don't know. Most drummers I know like a drink.
There was a drummer I knew in London who was a drummer in my friend's band, and he was on a riser, a riser, the drummer was riser, and halfway through the gig he did fall off back like that. And we've all fallen over on stage. I've fallen into drum kits numerous times and fallen off stage and fallen over on stage. You all do it, but to see a drummer suddenly disappear, it's quite impressive.
Yeah.
He only did it once, and he was drunk. That's why he fell off. It wasn't. Little tip: if you're a drummer and you're on a riser, make sure that your stool is far enough in.
Don't go pushing it back or screw it to the floor.
Don't go pushing it back, because you will disappear. You will disappear.
I remember doing a gig in Glastonbury Town Hall, and the stage in Glastonbury Town Hall is on a slant.
Yeah.
Isn't it? And Gene was my drummer then, and we were playing, and as he's playing, he was joining me on the front of the stage. He's coming forward, and you can see he's dragging either trying to drag them back or trying to drag me. It was the funniest thing we've ever seen.
Yeah, they do that because it's like drama, isn't it? They'll slightly upstage and downstage
and everything. But
it follows Alan Bennett, kind of Alan Ayckbourn, Samuel Becker's type plays that you can see better, but it doesn't really suit drummers.
Drummers, no. Everything was just sliding. Grab everything and play at the same time.
It'd be worse if you were on a baby grand piano, which is on wheels anyway, or one of those big xylophones
with
wheels as well. Evelyn Glennie just traveling down the stage because she's deaf. She wouldn't know, and she'd just fall off the front of the stage. You'd never know. It's very, very dangerous.
Yeah, I think that's the end of the It's the end of the gig when the drummer falls off the stage.
Yeah, it's not over until the drummer falls off. You could have Adele would could probably fall off, or you see that footage of like Madonna falling off stage.
Oh,
everyone falls off stage at some.
Yeah, that was quite funny. It looked painful, but it was very, very funny. She should have undone her coat.
Yeah. It's like one of those ventriloquist thing when they've got the squeaker thing or whatever it's called. But you're not a ventriloquist until you swallow one of them, apparently.
Yeah, or a Judy artist.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's exactly it. Yeah, the Punch and Judy, and you're not a guitarist until you've actually fallen off stage, and you've gone for that foot on the monitor thing and just not done it. But
you just made me think now. So if you did swallow one of those squeaky things, you would know when you're just about to pass it.
You know what?
You know when you're just about to pass it, because when you broke.
Thank God for that. Judy.
That's the way not to do it.
Sausages. Yeah, you know, it would be some sort of like line from a Punch and Judy thing, or some sort of truncheon involved. And you get it back because they're quite expensive. You don't want to.
They are.
You don't want to lose them.
I
retrieve it.
I've got one somewhere. I think it's in my my magic box. I think.
Oh right, but you don't know what it's a swazzle. Is it a swazzle?
Yeah, I think that's what it's called.
Swazzle, yeah, a swazzle, yeah. But I never liked the idea of it because you have to put it back quite far in your mouth.
Oh yeah.
And
and I used it a couple of times, and it was just like, no, there's gonna be an accident here.
Yeah.
And I don't want my obituary saying kill Swazzle.
Yeah. Who would go into that profession? So there's 101 different professions, and you go in for a profession where you put a dangerous piece of metal
in your mouth,
and you have to keep it there quite far back. It's like you just have to say no. I'm not going to do that.
This is why there's not so many Punch and Judy artists around now. But health and safety, it's far too expensive.
Oh, health and safety would have a field day. They'd shut them all down because it's just not. You can't do that. You simply cannot do that.
On that note, well, we can have to do. I mean, I could go for another 2 hours. We can have to do.
I'll come back when we're closer to the festival and give you an update on how things are going.
We can, say in a couple of months we can have another one, and then as we get closer,
yeah,
in it up, no problem.
At the moment, there are 20 films lined up, but they will be judged. So who knows how many we'll get in? But you might be lucky and get a whole load of films. But there will be some disappointed filmmakers in South Korea.
You want to watch it? Don't come over. Yeah.
Well, this is it. You see, you got this like bear trapper in Canada saying, gets an email saying your film has not been accepted into the Cannon Valley Film Festival. He's like this: get my bear trap, get my bear. We're going to Wales, wherever that is.
And my monkey outfit.
Get my monkey outfit. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And in South Korea, it'll be like, get my, what would it be? I'm not sure what it would be, but
whatever it is that they would use.
Whatever they do, it's Squid Games. Squid Games is South Korean, so it would be something from Squid Games. Get my little
oiler suit and mask.
Yes, yes. Get my mask. I'm going to Wales. I'm going to sort this out. Yeah. How dare they not put my film in their damn festival? Who do they think they are? So yeah, there will be a whittling down, which is an old medieval term for whittling down the films. You turn up with your pitchfork and your torch, and you whittle down the films. It's like Morris dancing. A little bit like Morris dancing, and you end up with less films.
Well, Morris has said he's not dancing anymore because he's twisted his ankle.
Yeah. Yes, it's true. It's true.
Maybe it'll be better though by November. So what is it November the festival is?
If you turn up in November, you will have missed it. So October the 4th, 15th, and 16th. So there will be a program of screenings and popcorn.
Cool.
And there might be various things going on. Bill Clooney will be there. Joanna Lumley. And
Warwick Davis.
That guy from 4 Weddings and a Funeral, he'll be there. He'll turn up to anything, like that. You'll be really sort of like stammering and where do I sit? I've never been to one of these before, and I'm not sure what to do. And you're gorgeous, aren't you? And he'll be there. Hugh Grant. Yeah, Hugh Grant.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Not many people know him, but
not many people.
He'll be famous one day. He will be one day.
He will be famous. So if we can get £2 million, we can get him to come along. So, but we should do some updates and see how it's going.
Yeah, definitely. And where do they find out any information on it? There's a Facebook page.
Well, there's Eoldi website, cannonvalleyfilmfestival.co.uk, and Cannon Valley Film Festival on the Facebook, on the Instagram, on Twitter, and if you're really keen, if you are a filmmaker or you've got something that you think you might want to enter, then you go to a website called Film Freeway. That's filmfreeway.com, and then you'll search for Cannon Valley Film Festival. It'll take you to the page, and you can enter your film. I mean, it's not. It's something like $10 to enter.
Yeah,
it's not like very expensive. It's
not expensive. I had a look.
Yeah, it goes to pay for the popcorn and Joanna Lumley's and Dylan Thomas's B&B.
Well, do exactly that. Go over, give Nigel a follow, give the Cynnon Valley Film Festival a follow. Also, when you're there, give me a follow as well on Facebook, Benney Babbles, and on the YouTube as well, because it's broadcast on the 2 platforms. See, yeah,
far and wide. Have a look at Sound Records as well. SWND. They've been calling it Sound for ages, and I got them to call it Sound now because it's a Welsh word. I don't even know if it is a Welsh word. I don't think it is a Welsh word.
Noise.
Soon. Noise.
Yeah.
So well, it's Sound Records, and it's out. Comes out of Swansea, and there's a lot of people signed to it. I think Ohiba Peronte's next album might be on Soon as well. If you know Al and Ian from Ohiba Peronte and Floss. So yeah.
Floss used to be my bassist.
Used to be your what?
My bass player.
Not that Floss.
Not that Floss. Different Floss.
Not that Floss.
Who Floss it?
Would you believe that in one town you've got 2 people called Floss, and one's a guitarist in Cumbark and one is a bass player in Hirwaun?
Yeah.
They're not the same person. The Floss.
But have you ever seen them in the same place?
No, never seen them in the same band. So that's what apparently their new album's going to come out on Soon. It's there's lots and lots of releases on Soon. It's very active.
We'll have to have you on and you and the guys on and talk about Soon as well.
Yeah, Mike will come on. He's a fascinating.
I spoke to Mike a few times because he was doing a show on Jack's, wasn't he?
Yeah.
So I got that connection there. So I'll have to give him a shout and have him to come on.
It's very, very, very good for Welsh music. Welsh bands and Welsh artists, and it's growing very, very quickly. There's also a magazine. I'm the layout artist for the magazine because I can lay out magazines, and that's coming out in April. So look out for that.
Awesome. See, all exclusives here, folks, on Benney Babbles.
All on Benney Babbles. It's issue 7 coming out of Soon magazine. All good outlets and suppliers. Where you normally get your podcasts, where you normally get your magazines. Actually, is that a ragtag and bobtail kind of like number of suppliers? You can get it at St. Elvan's Church. Actually,
it wouldn't be a rag mag then if that's the case.
No, it's not a rag. It's not a rag mag.
Yeah, they don't do those anymore. I should love those things.
No, they were great back in the 70s and the 80s. That was.
Yeah, well, yeah, I think if it hadn't been for rag mags, I don't think Viz would have.
No,
you wouldn't have had Viz without the rag mags. No, but
that whole DIY culture was created from sentiments like that and ideas like that, and I still believe in the DIY.
Oh yeah,
version of events.
Hence,
to get this and that. Yeah, and this this bit there, the Nigel Evans Cynnon Valley Film Festival. I had to type that in myself.
You did
on the way in the waiting room. So you don't even have people to do that for you anymore. You got to do your own.
Do yourself, yeah. I mine. It's terrible.
Yeah. One day we're going to go back to cars. We're going to do stuff on cars on ourselves one day.
I did have that at the bottom. Yeah, look, tonight's guest is Nigel Evans. There we are.
You do that.
I did do one for you.
It's very well done. That's like Rolling News, isn't it? Rolling News on Sky. That you can watch one person here. I keep forgetting where the camera is, but it's one person, and you can watch you as well, and you can see
and the Rolling News as well.
What's happening in Iran at the moment, and what's happening in
Abercynon.
Yeah, because there was a helicopter going around town tonight.
Yeah, I was like, I hope he buggers off before I start the podcast. It's going to ruin it.
Yeah. And then it was all over Facebook, and people were saying, "Yeah, it's like no, it's Abercynon. No, it's it's Robertstown. It's like, nobody really knew because it was moving. It could have been anywhere. It could have been Cumdare. It could have been Aberraman. But that's the nature of helicopters, is they do. They're like sharks. They can't stop. So
they got moving. Right. Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much, Nigel, for coming on.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
For everyone that tuned in tonight as well. I'll be back next week. I can't remember who I'm talking to because I probably haven't even arranged it yet. But I'll be back next week. John. I said does a show on YouTube called Blethyn. So it's a sort of comedy sitcom. Based in Pontypridd and filmed around the Pontypridd area as well. So go and have a look at that, and I'll be talking to John next week. So it's a good night from me, and it's a good night from him. It's like the two Ronnies here, and see you all soon. Bye.